LEGO's made two Fast and Furious cars, one with Dom and one with Brian O'Connor. The two very different characters with two very different cars. You've got the American Muscle and the Dodge Charger, and then the JDM with the Nissan GT-R R34. These two cars are incredible builds, but which one comes out on top? Which set's better? They're both on shelves, but which one wins? Let's see it now. And now these reviews are done on comparisons are done on 5 different categories, where it's figure, build, detail, function, everything. We'll have a whole thing at the end looking over it, but let's start off with our figures and see what they're like. So Brian O'Connor, our first figure from the latest set, and this figure is amazing. Just the torso prints and everything, it just looks really great. There is no dual molded head on this character, but the hair and everything just matches really well. I really like the figure, and the detail on this is really nice. Face print is alright. It's a bit weird, but I don't mind it. I think it works out quite well for this character. Let's get on to Dom next. Back to the original, we've got Dom here. Now this figure does have very similar with the torso, with sort of the indent marks, then on the back, but it is very simple. The head is nice. Out of the two characters, I think the head is the better print. Yeah, let's see. I do like the actual, obviously you got a bit of an eyebrow raise there. Yeah, it's a really nice character, really nice print, but which one's better? Let's see. With these two characters, I think I've definitely got to give it to Brian O'Connor for the better figure. Dom I don't mind, but Brian's just got a lot more detail, and I think it just looks much more an interesting fig. Really do like it, but yeah. Now let's get on to the important part, the reason why you're buying these vehicles, the cars. Shit. These two cars are something very different. With Dodge, we've only got the one sticker, but for Nissan, we've got a lot of stuff. Now, these do show the two vary, with sort of Nissan being a lot more sort of customized on the outside compared to the Muscle, which is very simple. Yeah, let's look at these tires first. With Dodge, for the Nissan, it's very simple. It's just one sort of color print. I do quite like it in preference to over sort of the Dodge Challenger, which is just a printed piece. I don't mind it, but I think I definitely have to give it to the Nissan here. It just looks a lot better, and I really do like that there. The side prints, there is a lot of stickers. This one becomes quite a lot of labels. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on each side, which is pretty massive. But I do like the extra for the dual handle here. It just looks very nice, very clean, and I think just turns out really well. For the Dodge, we've got something very different, where it's a lot more simplistic, where these here, this colour grade just looks really good, and it works out really well. Plus the amount that this is inverted here, the techniques look incredible, but for this, I think I definitely am going to give it to the Nissan. I just prefer things. No problem is these studs do not look good at all, but this I'm going to count into another category. It gets hard. These two sets of two very interesting things, and the techniques here get incredible. So starting with the Dodge, you see the massive amount of techniques that goes into the back here, how smooth it is, the pieces are inverted, we've got a lot of printed here. You've got all of this is printed here as well as that, and the license plate isn't. It just looks very good. It's very, very. You've got California there for the plate, which is obviously referencing to the film. Then Florida for the Nissan, but these two just look amazing. I don't know, for the Nissan, it's very creative, the techniques, but there are bits of gappage. I don't know, I think I'll call this one a joint because it's very hard for me to decide between backs of both these, because they're very detailed, they're really incredible. Because also with the Nissan, they aren't as inverted the pieces, but the back here does have a really nice dip. In the bottom, I know it's weird mention, but it does almost try to imitate the underglow with sort of the blue here. But yeah. Anyway, let's move on to the next part. The angle between these two cards is very, very different. And I have to say, it's very noticeable that the Dodge here just looks incredible. This shot where you've just got the extra sort of supercharger on the top there, you've got the highlight, you even got the little light just underneath. It just looks so good. The Nissan, don't get me wrong, looks nice. The stickering, you've got the little sort of GTR logo there. The headlights just throw it off me. They just aren't as accurate, and the piece usage is okay, but it just, you still see those studs, and it just doesn't look as good, personally. Yeah, I definitely have to give this to the Dodge here. Look at these from sort of more of a top-down view. You do notice something. The GTR, these studs become very visible, but the spoiler on the back here looks very good. So let me cover up these studs. This car looks pretty incredible. It's very flat, it looks really good. Studs are quite drawaway, and as I said, with the front here, these headlights just aren't as good and aren't as interesting. To the Dodge here, it's very, very nice from the top. You've got sort of turbocharged, you've got everything here. Just honestly, the Dodge, I do prefer a bit more from the top. It's just these studs. They just stick out quite a lot. And though it's very creative at the front here, it's just the studs and the headlights just lose it for me. This one definitely goes to the Dodge. Quick look at the supercharger there. It's so detailed. It looks really, really good. Now, let's get on to something a bit more interesting between the two cars. It's a very different interiors. For these two cars, there's a very big difference. Between the Fast and Furious sort of cars, they always just have quite a lot more extra detail on the interior, where you see the stickering to the back of the seat, and the nitros in here for this looks amazing. My camera is being really annoying today. Yeah, you can just see the stickers, you can see everything, just really accurate to the film. And this set does have quite a lot on the back here for the Nissan. It is really detailed and I do really like it. So let's look at the Dodge now. So the Dodge here is really interesting. It has a roll cage built in and does just have so much. It's a very blackish interior. The seat is a slightly different build, more similar to the film. I don't know, they're very hard to choose between. These two cars are very hard to look between the two figures. But I think I might just give this, I think I have to call it a tie, because personally I can't decide between these. The roll cage in the back here just looks incredible for the Dodge. And you do see you got a bit at the back there for not extra seating like you call them Nissan, which I know sounds bad, but they are just two very different sets, but that does make it really good. So let's get these both built back up, because there's quite a lot of stuff you need to take off these and look at the final opinion. And these two cars are drawn points. They're both at 3 points, as two of them were given out as half each, because they're just very hard to decide between. But let's talk about the build process. Which one gives you the most inspiring techniques? So, talking about the Dodge here, we do get, it's really interesting building the sides, and the front is sort of eye-opening, the techniques they use into it. But the Nissan, though the front doesn't look good, the techniques they use all around this car are quite incredible, just to get the angles, to get the build. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to go with building style and techniques. Definitely goes to the Nissan here. It is just something really incredible and something really special to build. Yeah, let's look at it. So these two cars, which one is my favorite? Which one is my pick? So the figures definitely come down to the Nissan, but build-wise, just overall, the car, which one is the best? The car definitely comes down to the Dodge Charger. Just build to be most satisfying. I just can't get around these studs. They just don't look that great. But when you look at everything else about this car, I think even though my loyalty is to the Dodge Charger, it does look incredible. The angles you get on this set are amazing, but I think the Nissan wins, because point-wise it did 3 versus 4, and it does just have that extra. Now I'm doing a short where I'm going to be just basically showing us loads of people giving your ways to remove the stuff, but I'm going to look and actually compare between the different options, see what one comes out top. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I do recommend these two cars are close to indistinguishable in the detail and quality of the build. I recommend, if you did, to pick up both. They're great films. They're from great films, they're great sets, and yeah, recommend. Thank you for watching so much, and remember, it's about family.